Part 1, answer and explanation of questions. Section A, super short questions and answers. 1. A, mention any 2 areas of international relations. Answer, international trade and international aid. Explanation, these are key areas where countries work together. Trade deals help economies grow, while aid supports countries in crisis. 2. What is the purpose of developing international regional organizations? Answer, to develop mutual cooperation and duty-free trade systems. Explanation, groups like ASEAN or EU aim to make trade easier by removing taxes and fostering peace through collaboration. 3. C. What is the full form of IMF? Answer, International Monetary Fund. The IMF helps stabilize economies by lending money to countries in need and promoting financial stability. 4D. What is the amount of trade among NAFTA member states? Answer, about 50%. Explanation. The North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, boosted trade between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico by removing many tariffs. 5E. Which is the multilateral treaty body? World Trade Organization, WTO. WTO sets global trade rules and resolves disputes between countries. Section B, short questions. 2. Define international relations. International relations are the interactions between nations focusing on diplomacy, trade, and cooperation. Explanation. It includes activities like forming treaties, trade agreements, and resolving conflicts. 3. Mention one need of international relations. Answer, peace and security. Countries must work together to avoid wars, solve disputes, and promote global stability. 4. What are the fields of international relations? Answer, trade, diplomacy, environment, and defense. Explanation. These areas show how countries collaborate on global challenges like climate change or security. 5. Define international trade. Answer, exchange of goods and services between countries. Explanation. Trade allows countries to share resources and grow their economies by selling products abroad. 6. Name any 2 organizations created to provide international aid/loans. World Bank and IMF. Explanation. These organizations give financial assistance to developing countries for infrastructure and economic growth. Core themes in Part 1. International cooperation. Nations work together to tackle global problems. Trade and aid. Trade agreements like NAFTA promote economic growth, while organizations like IMF stabilize economies. Organizations. Institutions like the WTO and World Bank play key roles in ensuring smooth global relations. Me to proceed with Part 2, summarizing more details or the listed books. Part 2, continued explanation and core concepts. Section C, essay questions. 7. Define international relations and discuss its scope. Answer. International relations, IR, is the study of relationships between countries, covering areas like diplomacy, trade, military alliances, and global cooperation. Scope. 1. Political relations, diplomacy, conflict resolution, and international treaties. 2. Economic relations, trade agreements, financial aid, and development projects. 3. Environmental cooperation, addressing global challenges like climate change. 4. Cultural exchange, promoting mutual understanding through education and cultural programs. 8. What is international relations? Describe the importance of studying it. Answer, international relations is a field that examines interactions among nations, organizations, and global institutions. Importance, promotes global peace by resolving conflicts, boosts economic prosperity through trade deals, enhances understanding of global issues like terrorism or pandemics. 9. What is the field of international relations? Mention the organizations related to these fields. Answer, political field, United Nations, UN, NATO. Economic field, World Bank, IMF. Trade field, WTO, NAFTA, SAFTA. Environmental field, UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. 10. What is international trade? Describe the importance of international trade. Answer, definition, the exchange of goods and services across borders. Importance, strengthens economies by providing access to resources, encourages innovation through competition, promotes international cooperation and stability. 11. What are economic organizations? Give details of Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum, APEC, Answer. Definition. Economic organizations are groups formed to boost trade, investment, and economic growth. PEC, formed in 1989 to promote free trade in the Asia-Pacific region. It includes 21 members, like the US, China, and Japan, working on economic integration. Key themes in Part 2. 1. Importance of international relations. Helps nations collaborate on global issues like security, environment, and trade. 2. Global organizations. Institutions like WTO and APEC ensure smooth trade and economic development. 3. Economic growth. Free trade agreements and economic organizations promote prosperity by reducing trade barriers. Part 3. Continued explanation and core concepts. Section C. Essay questions. Continued. 12. Discuss about SURDAP and NAFTA. Answer. SURDAP, South Asian Integrated Regional Development Program, established to foster cooperation in social and economic development among South Asian nations. Focuses on poverty alleviation, education, and technology sharing. NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, CHAB, established in 1994 between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico to eliminate trade barriers. Enhanced regional trade by reducing tariffs on goods and services. 13. Describe the World Trade Organization, WTO. Answer. Formation. Established in 1995, replacing GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Objective. To regulate international trade, resolve disputes, and reduce trade barriers. Impact. Promotes global trade stability and ensures fair practices among member nations. 14. Discuss AFTA and SAFTA. Answer. AFTA, ASEAN Free Trade Area, formed in 1992 to enhance trade among ASEAN nations, e.g. Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand. Goal: reduce tariffs and improve the competitive edge of the region. SAFTA, South Asian Free Trade Area, operational in 2006, aims to promote trade among SAARC countries, e.g. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Encourages economic growth by lowering tariffs and fostering cooperation. Bibliography review, books overview. 1. Geography versus Geopolitics by L. Bowman, 1932. Examines the relationship between geography and global politics, highlighting how physical landscapes influence power dynamics. 2. Geography and Politics in a Divided World by S. B. Cohen, 1964, explores political conflicts shaped by geographical boundaries, focusing on Cold War tensions. 3. Political Geography, A Contemporary Perspective by R. D. Dickischit, 1982. Discusses the role of political geography in modern geopolitics, including state boundaries and territorial disputes. 4. Systematic Political Geography by H. J. Deblay, 1967, provides a detailed analysis of how geography affects global governance and international relations. Key themes in Part 3. 1. Regional cooperation. Agreements like SAFTA and AFTA foster economic growth by lowering trade barriers. 2. Global trade regulation. WTO plays a critical role in ensuring fair trade and resolving disputes. 3. Geopolitical insights. Books highlight how geography and politics intersect to shape global events. Part 4. Final summaries and core insights. Bibliography continued. 5. Fundamentals of Political Geography by R. L. Dwivedi, 1997, a foundational guide explaining the principles of political geography, including state formation, sovereignty, and the geopolitical impact of natural resources. 6. Political Geography and the World Map by Y. M. Goblet, 1951, focuses on the interaction between political power and geographic features, such as mountains, rivers, and strategic locations. 7. Recent Developments in Political Geography by R. Hartshorne, 1935, analyzes the evolution of political geography, highlighting how global events, such as wars, reshape territorial claims and boundaries. 8. The Functional Approach in Political Geography by R. Hartshorne, 1950, explores the dynamic role of political geography in understanding international relations, particularly border conflicts and alliances. 9. Geography and World by J. Fairgrieve, 1921, examines the influence of geographical features on world politics and human settlement patterns. Core themes across the books. 1. Geography's role in power dynamics. The books emphasize how natural features, like rivers, mountains, and resources, shape nations' power and influence global events. 2. Political geography in modern context. Authors explore territorial disputes, Cold War divisions, and how geography influences economic and military alliances. 3. Evolution of geopolitical strategies. The bibliography highlights the changing role of geopolitics over time, from colonial expansions to modern trade blocs and defense pacts. Key takeaways from essay questions. 1. International cooperation. Organizations like SAARC, NAFTA, and ASEAN foster trade, peace, and socioeconomic development among member nations. Global organizations like WTO and IMF regulate economic policies to promote global stability. 2. Military alliances. NATO and the Warsaw Pact illustrate the division of power during the Cold War, with each alliance working to safeguard its ideology. 3. Economic collaboration. Trade agreements, e.g. SAFTA, AFTA, show how nations can benefit mutually by removing barriers and fostering regional unity. Final thoughts. Why international cooperation matters. It ensures peace, promotes trade, and tackles global challenges collectively. Political geography's importance. Understanding it helps policymakers navigate territorial conflicts and leverage geographic advantages in diplomacy and trade.